Institute's class of 2015. Graduates, today we started off as LI students and will finish today as LI alumni. Any one of us is equally qualified to be speaking from this podium today. Each of us has some special attribute, talent, or perspective that we would all benefit greatly from. Individually, we are remarkable, but together we are a force to be reckoned with. Watching our class come together time and time again to support one another has been a great pleasure. Granted, it did take some time and effort to become such a strong team. Sometimes I think about our freshman year Spirit Week attempt and am amazed at how far we've come since then. From winning Clash of the Classes this year to supporting members of our community, we have proven that together we can accomplish great things. We've become so successful because we have learned to appreciate and celebrate each other's differences, the things that make us special. As we have become more cohesive as a class, we've been able to let our differences become attributes. Author Marianne Williamson said, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be?" She then goes on to say, as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. End quote. Freshman year, I wrote that quote on the back of my acting notebook to remind myself to not be afraid to be present, put myself out there, and be, as Mr. Houck would say, a risk taker. My grandfather Arden used to say that 95% of life is just showing up. Something about that doesn't seem quite right at first thought, but I found it to be incredibly true. Putting yourself out there and being present in your life is the most effective way to reach your goals. Throughout high school, I've tried to be very present in my life, which has allowed me to know myself and my abilities much better. For example, I now know that I'm pretty good at music and math, and thanks to a few failed Winter Carnival attempts, very, very bad at arm wrestling. I know as well as any of you that being present isn't always easy, especially when it's negative 40 out, and it seems like we are the only school in New England that isn't closed. Or like this past week when the classes were winding down, the tent was being put up, and half of us only showed up so Mr. Tanner wouldn't keep us in detention until after the graduation ceremony. I have loved going to school here at the perfect size high school. But honestly, there were a few days this winter that I only showed up because of the flavored butter in the cafeteria. But we've persevered, and here we are on the same field that we unfroze icy balled-up t-shirts on freshman day 4 years ago. I've learned many things over the past 4 years, like that we should use both doors when walking down the hallways, or how to extract DNA from different types of produce. But I'd say one of the most important things I've learned is that we can't expect to achieve greatness unless we push ourselves to it. There will always be people in our lives who want us to succeed and will do almost anything to help us achieve our goals, but honestly, they can't do it for us. We have to find something we want badly enough to throw ourselves completely into it and push ourselves to accomplish. Throughout high school, we've been very fortunate to be surrounded by adults who have found and followed their passions. Every day I've been inspired by our incredible teachers. They so obviously love what they do, and that makes me want to find something I'm that passionate about. Watching Dubs backflip across the lawn, seeing the look on Mrs. Noren's face when we finally get a tricky song right, or hearing Mr. Hickey nerd out about the fourth dimension. It is evident that these people have found their calling in life and have had the inner drive to push themselves to it. My dad is another person who has taught me a lot about being present in my life. His passions were music and his family. He shared his talents and love of music with countless students as a music teacher and instilled in my brother and me a love for all things musical. Although my dad was very serious about his work, he also threw himself completely into his family life. He was a great advocate for being present, reading to us almost every night, being the most formidable Star Wars Battlefront opponent I have ever encountered, and the kind of dad who would let me help him build emergency chicken isolation pens due to a slight cannibalism problem in the middle of the night, which I would imagine would take a lot of patience because I was 7 and it was raining. He sees any opportunity to make his family happy. Like when my mom came home to find my dad, my brother, and me feeding cheese and crackers to a mouse we had trapped in a kitchen pot. Or how whenever he drove me to dance class, we always ended up coming home with some new fish or bird just because the pet shop was on the way home. My dad followed his passions and took advantage of every moment presented to him in his short time with us. I hope to do the same. As we commence with our futures, whether college, military, or the workforce, it is important that we remember the values that we were taught here. Celebrate everyone's unique attributes and support one another to create a powerful and united community. Very soon, Lyndon Institute will turn from the place we go to school to the place we went to school, and different memories from our time here will stick with each of us. The memories that will stick with me are of the wonderful people with whom I've had the pleasure of sharing these 4 years. We are a class of artists, athletes, musicians, engineers, dancers, scientists, chefs, farmers, business people, and countless others. And our diversity has made us an incredible community to be a part of. I would like to thank all the teachers who taught me so much more than what I could ever find in a book, the 2 wonderful headmasters we have had during our time here, the Norwoods and Mr. Ulrich for being my school family, and of course my real family, especially my mother, the best role model I could have ever asked for. Classmates, thank you for sharing your talents and passions with me, and congratulations on all you've achieved. This is just the beginning. Thank you.